What's going on, y'all? This is Thousand Trails Orlando, and this is the busiest Thousand Trails park there is. And because of that, it's pretty well taken care of. We've enjoyed our stay here, and we would love to share with you guys the pros and cons of this park and help you understand or decide if this is a park that you would like to come and visit. So we actually stayed what would be considered B Field, but we were right by the HOA, which is the new part over there to the right, and right across from the Getaway Club. If you've got an adventure or elite membership, whatever gets you a free night stay at the Getaway Cabins, this is where you would stay. This park is really big. The rumor I hear is that there's 1,100 sites here. Probably includes the cabins as well. There's a bunch of different sections. You get a wide variety of spots. And we'll kind of start back here with what's called D section. D section is reminding me of like either a state park or really some old school Thousand Trails. You've got a lot more trees that are closer to the sites back here. They're typically, I believe these are all just 30 amp. And it goes back quite a ways. I really just don't have time to go back there and show you all of it. It's a pretty good sized area. As you can see, just from going down the road, you can see cars just kind of sticking out a little bit between the palmettos here. That surprised me a little bit. There's a schoolie there. I thought schoolies weren't allowed at Thousand Trails, but I mean, that's a pretty good looking one. Maybe they got it officially certified. Just kind of give you an idea. This is a site number 18 in D section. I think they all have sewer, but I'm not 100% sure on that. There are a lot of cabins that are like lived in full-time back here. There are RVs that are seasonal sites back here. Yeah, to me, this reminds me of more of a traditional Thousand Trails. Come on over this way, and we will check out the little beach that they have on the lake, as well as the dock, which you can kind of walk out on the dock, but it's also broken. You can see some of these cabins that are clearly lived in. I'm not sure if they bought these outright or they're just paying for them, but they get to make modifications like screening them in. And we come out of here, out of D section, and we've got the beach over here. It's interesting. Tanya is thinking I would never let my kids swim here because there's a sign right on the beach. Watch out for alligators and snakes. Looking a little popular at the moment. I do believe that they can rent like these kayaks over here. It looks like there's a paddle boat. So this looks like it was doing pretty good until something broke at the end, and then the ramp to the floating part at the end broke, and they just boarded it off. This actually kind of, like I said, this whole area back here, the D section, kind of reminds me more of what we're used to at typical Thousand Trails. That's really not the condition of this whole park. This park is probably one of the best, most well-maintained parks there is. We usually come out here in the evenings, so I've never really paid attention to this greenery here that's growing in the water. Quite interesting with the bright 11 a.m. sun shining down on it. Just to the right of the beach, we've got a small dog park over here. I've actually never walked over here. Tanya and the girls have brought Daisy over here, so this will be my first time checking it out. Not too shabby. I've seen smaller. Obviously, I've seen a lot bigger. There are some dog poop bags out here in a trash can, a couple places to sit. And I was kind of admiring this right here. Not sure who got these out here, if they're supposed to be here. The grass is maintained. Looks like a lovely place to sit in the shade and look at the water. Coming from that D section and the beach, as well as that dock, and turn over here into what they call B field. B field is a pretty large area. I haven't seen it really broken down from that into other names. We do have a mixture of cabins and annuals, usually backed by the woods. And then there's a series of pull-through buddy sites back here. Some of them have got like these big triangular type grass sites here in the middle of the share. Other ones you've got in the middle have got just kind of plain Jane grassy spots in between, like that, where they're sharing a tree, the way that they pulled through. It's a nice thought with the whole buddy site thing, but unless you're pulling in with your friend in exactly the same order, you got slim chances of getting a spot right next to your friend here. We're going to definitely talk in great detail about this park, coming in and getting a spot. It could be a whole video all to itself, honestly. So this area I'm going through here now is kind of the core area of the B field. Area of trees right here. If you get one of these spots, you back up to having this grassy area behind you. So there's a lot of kids a lot of families with kids that stay in these areas. And what we've observed, as opposed to having a lot of the kids all gathering together by the rec center, because some of them will, since the park can be a little bit hard with the rules on the kids out there running around and playing, what they tend to do is they all tend to congregate together in these areas. Like the other day, we actually saw a massive grouping over here to the right where they were out having an outdoor movie and like 20 kids playing games together. I'm pretty sure they all knew each other, but that's just one of the ways, you can make friends out here and the kids can come out and play together. And they find each other quite easily in this area. This road right here is just to the right is where the rec center is, which I'm sure I'll make sure to show you that rec center. It's a very busy rec center. If you got one of these spots here right on the right, this is a triggerfish. Oh, look at that. We got an empty spot. Although I wonder why there's stuff right there. That's interesting. Looks like a clam or something like that got left behind. Some of these sites, I guess if they got too bad, they've gotten some brand new asphalt put down, but that's a 50 amp full hookup. There's a sewer site right there. Now this is before noon. I'm riding around about 11-ish. We've got high noon coming up where they're gonna start going crazy, bringing people in and getting them spots. So those will all get taken. As you can see, we've got pretty good amount of space. And in these areas, these older sites, you can put stuff in the grass. That's not an issue. It's when you get into the newer section, which is nicknamed the HOA. It's not really called that. It's nicknamed the HOA. You're not supposed to put anything in the grass over there. And that is actually straight ahead. That Class A is there. That is in the newer section, the HOA. And I see a number of spots over there. A lot of people desire to go there because they've got the cement pads. But Tanya, she does her art and she likes to set up her tent, and we knew that that was going to be a problem. So we specifically told them when we came here, we don't want one of those spots because we want to set up Tanya's tent. When we got our spot, we asked the guy, he said, what do you prefer? I said, I need something it's a little bit older so we can put up the tent. And then I need it preferably easy to back in. Now, honestly, most of these are actually looking pretty easy to back in. They're pretty well designed, the whole park. But he gave me probably one of the best spots to back into, right here. You turn down this road, you can see my Ram right there and our fifth wheel. And we just had to go kind of straight down this road and then just back straight in. So I really appreciated the guy hooking us up with a spot like that. 531. Nice and easy to back into. Driving through the new section, giving you kind of an idea of what these sites look like. I was pretty impressed with how they paved the corners on these, making sure to give you more room as you're backing in so you don't have to go through the grass. It's like whoever handled setting this park up did a much better job of paying attention to how RVs come and go out of a site so that they're not constantly tearing up the grass at the corners, because that seems to be what happens most places, especially Thousand Trails parks. There's the rec center right there. It's kind of the center of the park, along with a couple of pools. We'll talk more about that later. Passing by the horseshoes, mini golf. There's a white picket fence there on the right. There's like a garden in there that you can go, and it's like a community garden. I haven't been in there yet. May have to go check that out today. Obviously, there's bodies of water all over the place, and you do need to watch out for alligators, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Now, this is a lot more new sections over here on the left, and these are really the newest. I've seen videos from just 2 years ago, and none of those sites were over there to the left. And here is the guard shack. This guard shack is manned 24 hours a day. I think it might be one of the only ones. It's about 11:52 right now, and I'm trying to zoom down here and record people coming in at noon. I think this will be fun to watch. The lineup wasn't too bad today. Maybe about 30 or so total that came in right about noon. I heard last Saturday it was over 100. So when you arrive, you're going to pull up to the gate up there that's manned 24 hours, and you are going to get a map booklet and a number on the front, and they're literally given out in order, so that's how we know that we were number 30 when we came in. And then from there, you're not done yet. They're going to bring you in closer to the recreational center, and you're going to get paired up with somebody in a golf cart, and they're going to show you two options. They'll ask you what you're looking for, because they have different style of sites. And then they're going to take you to whatever's available. If you don't like the first one, you can tell them, I don't like this first one, and they will take you to a second one. However, on the second one, you lost your choice. So you just got the two choices. Remember, they're in a hurry. They've got to get these people into the park as fast as they can. Just to the left of where you're pulling in, you've got the main office over here. There's a bunch of lanes here with arrows. It looks like back in the day, you used to come in and check in over here, but this place has just gotten so big and out of hand. They're just having to get you in as fast as they can and get this done with as quickly as possible. If you can make it down this far, they've got this extra brick side over here. If you're trying to come in when it's really busy, this gives you an option. Unfortunately, the line gets so crazy long that it's near impossible to get down here to use this. There we go, put in my code and I'm back in the park. Following around on this side, this is the way that the RVs are going to go in. I'm going to turn left and come over this way to the rec center. There's a little basketball court over here. They've got a couple of pickleball courts, mini golf off to the middle. There's a huge fire pit with a bunch of benches around it. I'll have to walk back around and show you guys all this stuff here in a little bit. I have to keep readjusting the camera as we go over bumps, and my little grip for the camera keeps dropping. You can set up on Saturday and sell stuff. Some kids over here just to the left, they're selling oatmeal cookies that they've made. You can also rent a table in the rec hall and sell stuff. I think it's $5 a table. We're coming up to the area. They're all kind of slowing down right here. This gentleman here is just kind of double checking everything. It was at that point I discovered I had an unpaid balance, which wasn't true. There was literally a discrepancy. All right, here we get to see someone coming in a cart. Next person in line. Oh, they're talking to my friend Melody, and here's Curtis of RV Plus 3. All right, so they got something picked out, and now they are going to go off. Oh no, they're coming at us. Drag the bike out of the way. All right, let's get out of here and go film some more stuff. I think we will focus now on the rec center and everything in the middle. It's a pretty big rec center. It's all inside, and I say that for a reason, since you've typically got you've typically got a lot of Thousand Trails where they've got a large covered area. I feel like this one, the large covered area, got turned into a stage amphitheater kind of area. Oh, gonna go over these bumpy roots right here. That didn't work so good with the camera. So we'll start off the center area talking about business, and that would be trash business. There is only 3 trash compactors for this entire park. They're right here in the center, and there's nowhere else to take them anywhere. It can be, it's like an apartment complex. That's what it reminds me of. But when you figure, if they have 1,000 sites here, they need the compactors, and having the dump trucks probably come more than once a week to pick these things up. I haven't been around here. I know that they've been taken, but I haven't been around to see when they're taken or how often. But I know that they got to move a lot of trash. There is one recycling bin here as well, this white bin. But you're gonna have to bring your stuff over here. Our first night here, there was a young man that knocked on our door and said, "I'll take your trash for $1." I appreciated the entrepreneurship of that. I thought that was pretty cute. All right, now let's get to the more fun stuff that's going on here. Out front, we have got giant chess and giant checkers, something that I think a lot of families enjoy. I know Kaylin likes to play giant checkers with her mom. You can ride your bikes and scooters and everything on the outside area, but they got this clear yellow line here that says no skateboards or bicycles beyond this point, which makes sense. You've got a lot of people, pedestrians coming through here. There's always a lot of people inside of here, so what I'll do is I'll film that quietly and more discreetly rather than walking through there talking and interrupting everybody, because there's a lot going on inside of this rec hall. We've got a half-court basketball over here that it's not busy at the moment, but I have seen up to 30 teenagers congregating over here at this basketball. Around back of the rec center, we have got 2 swimming pools, all sharing one area. They're super popular, as you can see. I mean, it is Florida. People are down here to enjoy the warmer weather when it's in the winter months. It is early March right now, so it is technically still March. And then right over here, we've got a gym. It's age 18 and up. Doesn't even say that people under 18 can be in here without supervision. And I don't know that I ever got a code, so I may not be able to get in here. The door wasn't even fully shut, so I was able to come in and talk real quick because there's music playing loudly in here. Have some unique exercise equipment. That's a great one right there. There was some free weight dumbbells just around the corner and some benches, but there was somebody in there using it and I did not want to record them, so it's a pretty good gym. I was impressed. I don't typically use those because then what happens is you get to the other parks and there's no option. So I just like to use what I have to try to build up my repetition of doing the same thing over and over again. At the pool, there's a hot tub on this side of the building and there's a kiddie pool back there on that side of that bathhouse right there, or bathroom. And then, like I said, 2 pools, almost identical, just split up by a picnic area right there, or really covered sit down and relax area. Got some covered picnic tables back here. And then there's a playground right over here. Here's the playground is right here. And then you can see people lined up right there to get their spots. Hot tub right in there. And then go down and we'll check out the games areas. There's the kiddie pool right there. Just 1 foot, 6 inches deep. That's it. Nothing special like a splash pad or anything. These are the best taken care of shuffleboards I have ever seen, and I've seen people using them here. I've never seen anybody use this game anywhere in my life. We've got people actively playing pickleball right now. I think there's about 10 pickleball courts here, so if you're serious about pickleball, they have got you set up. We also have on this side over here horseshoes, as well as what looks like, oh, what do they call it? Cornhole. In my day, it was called beanbag toss. Nowadays, they got something fancy for it. And those actually look a little newer. Those look like they're plastic. But then they've got like a scoring system right there. I've been impressed with how well everything is taken care of here. And this is one of the better looking mini golf courses that I've seen at any of the Thousand Trails. There's actually lights up here. They light it up at night. It looks really nice. It has a nice ambiance. I really do feel that this is probably the best taken care of Thousand Trails that we have been to. It just makes sense. I mean, you've got 1,100 spots, you're constantly full, you've got a bunch of annuals that stay here, so there's a lot of money being generated for the organization as a whole. So we've got the pond right over here, and then we've got this garden. I just recently was walking Daisy through this area and realized, I thought this was like maintenance equipment or something. Like, no, that's like an actual community garden. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if you have to rent a spot or you make friends and just kind of work together, but I think this is really neat. I haven't seen this at any of the other Thousand Trails parks. So here's this smaller basketball court. Not a whole lot going on here. This might be better for, I don't know, if you just want to play horse or something like that, since you don't really have a whole lot of space to dribble. But it's kind of a cool alternative. The teenagers really do dominate that other half court that's up there by the pools. By the way, it's 12:34 in the afternoon, and that Class A, that black, blue, and gray one, is currently the end of the, oh wait, that one is now the end of the line. And let's look at this big fire pit over here. I don't know that I've ever seen this used at all. This is pretty cool though, this ambiance with these big oak trees. The 3 big oak trees and all the Spanish moss hanging down. You've got a bunch of benches here, so if you wanted to, I guess, stand here with your back to the tree and talk to a group of people, kind of a cool setting. And I was guessing that this is a fire pit. Yeah, there's some burnt wood that's in here. You could make quite the fire. This thing is huge. But I don't know that I've ever seen anybody sitting over here or hanging out before. All right, let's get back to the bike. Several games of pickleball going on. It's a beautiful day right now. March 7th? No, March 8th. It's March 8th today. Hole number 16 of the mini golf. I noticed that it had, you got to hit it into one of those 3 holes and then walk down this path here. And it'll come out one of those 3 different holes there, and then you gotta get it into the end zone. The end zone. I don't know anything about sports. Looks like some of my friends, the cranes, have followed me over into this recreational area. Tanya's got a bird feeder that she puts out in our site, and these cranes have absolutely fallen in love with the food that she's putting out there. It's been interesting. She actually got some footage. There was a squirrel and a crane fighting over the bird food. Thought that was pretty funny.
He's attacking the squirrel. Okay, crane, if you want to eat the food. But the trolls and they're wet and
These things are also very loud. I don't know if you startle them or what it takes, but they, man alive, I've heard them at 7 in the morning making a bunch of racket. So this park, I think, has had probably the most professional staff that we've encountered at any Thousand Trails. Not exactly my favorite. I still say that the Long Beach, Washington Thousand Trails, the manager absolutely loved her job and it showed. The staff all took great care of everybody. There was just a love and compassion there. But here, this park is the most professional. They have rules, they have policies, they stick to them. They do a good job of explaining them and make sure that you understand them. Just everything plays out exactly how they planned it out. They designed a way for this park to function and they make it work right. So I think I've been really impressed. Let's talk about the mailroom real quick. The mailroom is only open 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and then 3:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. They do charge you $5 per package, and they do take cash or card for that. They are open for some different hours on Sunday. I don't remember what they are exactly. It's just like a 5-hour stretch period. All of that information is in that packet. There's a lot to read, but I really recommend you read it because there's a lot of good knowledge and information there. There's also a park store inside the rec center that closes at 8 p.m. and then the rec center itself closes at 10 p.m. Here's where the mailroom is located. Bunch of places that you can hook up your laptops and work because they've got free Wi-Fi here. Restrooms and a drinking fountain. Some game rooms back here. I guess people like bring up their PlayStations or whatever and hook them up here and play on the TV. Ping pong, got a pool table over there. Bunch of books, puzzles. And if you want to build puzzles, they've got these huge boards that you can take out and then just put it back in there when you're not currently actively working on it. We've got the park store right in here to the right. That's where you'll sign out any of your recreational stuff. If you're going to play mini golf, you'll get that stuff in there. They got shirts for sale if you want to show your Thousand Trails Orlando spirit. Oh, we've got tables where people are selling stuff. It's like a garage sale. I've seen dance parties in here, karaoke parties in here.
I used to train all kinds of dogs.
This room is huge. Good information to know about getting propane here.
Right foot again, left foot again, right foot, let's stop, left foot, let's stop.
I'm gonna take the long way, making my way back to our RV. I would love to show you guys all the spots, but let's be real. Most of the sites look like this. It's a lot of the same. So trying to show you all of the park would be a really long video, considering how massive this park is. I'm gonna meander my way back here to find jewelfish. I'll wind up passing several bathhouses. There are a lot of bathhouses here. You have probably 4 different styles. I've seen some compared more with what I saw over in Washington, because this is one of the original Thousand Trails parks. I've seen some like in the shape and size of what I've seen in Texas. And then the new area has got some really interesting designs that I hadn't seen before. I didn't get around to get footage of all of the bathhouses, which I like to do, but it's pretty overwhelming here. I haven't even counted up how many bathhouses there are yet. Hey look, an empty spot with a tree behind it. That's nice. That'll probably get taken pretty quick. Maybe, with only 20 or 30 coming in. Does seem like a really light day. This is the road named Jewelfish. Jewelfish goes around the entire part of the park and ends pretty much right at our site. And go back here through some of these buddy sites here on my right. The ones up to the left are considered like a premium site because they've got the wood spec behind them. Oh, there's a big boy. Look at that Volvo truck. Nice. Hey, that's Big Truck Big Travels. I've actually watched their videos. They actually got that big truck into some parks in Oregon where I was struggling. They were struggling too. Everybody struggles at some of those parks in Oregon, especially Pacific City. Now, some of these back here on my left are going to be annual sites, because why not? Why not have the woods right there behind you? And then we've got some cabins back here that people live in full time. Now, we are about full circle coming back to where we're parked, at the end of Jewelfish. And one of my biggest frustrations with this park has been, I would say, the traffic in this area. We are in the city. It's a bunch of big 6-lane highways with a lot of stoplights. They'll give you speed limits of like 55 miles per hour, but good luck ever getting to 55 miles per hour. You're probably going to get stopped by the constant red lights and the just overwhelming amount of traffic. You have a lot of Publix grocery stores to choose from. When we first got here, I felt like their meat prices at Publix were reasonable, but then within just a few days, or a week I'd say, those prices got really unreasonable. I'm not sure what happened. There's a Costco that's about 14 miles to the north. There's a Sam's Club that's about 18 miles to the east. There's Walmarts all around us. There's one very close. I think less than 2 miles away is a Walmart, but it's very touristy. They have a massive Mickey and Minnie section that cuts into a lot of the other stuff that they've got going on at that Walmart. And those prices at that Walmart didn't change, so I'm not sure what happened at Publix. Welcome home. Thought it would be nice to include this overview. I kind of just flew over the entire park with the drone just to kind of show off everything. That's the area right up by the front. This area you see right here is hard to get to. It's backed by a bunch of cabins. You have to pass through this area. That's where my parents stayed, in a cabin right there. And then this is all a part of the very expansive bee field that spreads way over there. Such a very large area. The older part of the park. This place has been built in a lot of different phases, that's for sure. This is coming over towards the area of bee field where we were located. You can see the lake off to the top left over there. Then the getaway club right at the bottom there, and then we get into the D section, which I think is probably the oldest part of this entire park. That's the part where it reminds me more of a state park or the classic Thousand Trails. I'm gonna spin the drone back around here and head over. You can see all of the new section there past that retention pond. These are all the cement sites. This is where you're not supposed to put anything on the grass. They nicknamed this area the HOA because if you do put something in the grass, it's a very good possibility your neighbor may tattle on you. That's why it's called the HOA. You can see the neighborhood right there, which is obviously outside the park, and then there is the front. And that's the front of the park. Thank y'all so much for watching this review of the Thousand Trails Orlando RV Resort. We hope that you found this information useful. And if you'd like to come back and check out more RV reviews, RV park reviews, and just follow our life of traveling in the United States in an RV, we welcome you to subscribe and come on back and check out more of our videos. Remember that life happens. Don't let it stop you. Stay fresh, cheese bags.